So welcome back to the session. So I will start it. So I have found some similarity between the people in the assignments that you have submitted. I got 2 to 300% similarity, and remaining like something 95, and it goes on increasing, decreasing up to 75. 75 is a little bit okay, but 95, like, I have seen the variable change, not the logic change or including the statements, everything is matching. The print or the input statements, everything. 100% is nothing, it's just a copy and paste. I don't know why it has been done. But be careful that similarity takes a lot of toll on your marks. Even if you get 10 out of 10, the people who got the same similarity, I can check that if both the codes are same, so I can assume that you might have either copied it from the internet or you have copied it from one another. Okay, so it will take place. So if you have anything that you say that we have discussed it together and we have wrote it, I'll just try to ask you a few questions, and based on that, I will award you the marks. Otherwise, remember, for plagiarism, I get around 5 marks if I see 100% plagiarism there. Okay. So after seeing the code, I can decide which program has been plagiarized or not. I don't want to show you the names and numbers. So Sai Pradeep, it's not your program. There are few other programs which have been plagiarized. The names are different. The names are new. It's not yours. Okay, by that time, I think not many people will try to copy it. Maybe they will take a screenshot, but still it is not showing your name. Okay. Yeah, screen share is only done by you and some other person, right? That's all. Omar or something. So I think that programs are not really matching with you all who have shared the screen in the morning. Okay, right. Let me share the screen for this. Right. So yeah. So we have done with operator overriding. So in our earlier case, we have done it. Just the example, you have done it. So before going to the operator overloading of, sorry, function overloading. So before we go to function overloading, we just finish off operator overloading. Let's see. So the strike line, you can see the Python operator works for built-in classes, and you can also overload the operators, which you can do it. So how you overload the operator? So I think the plus is an operator that will be used for adding to integers, to float value, and in Python, the concatenation of the string is also introduced. I hope you remember we have discussed in the last few classes, in the last semester also. Concatenation is not part of your C++. So we do overload an operator called plus so that two strings will be overloaded. If you have already learned C++ a little bit. In Java, the concatenation of the strings is already provided, and you can directly use it. In Python also it has been done. So if for example, if I give Kranti plus Kiran, yes, they both can be concatenated. And remember, let me open the new one. Yeah. Remember that if I give something like Kranti, so now my Kranti will become an object of a class called string. If you find out what is this one, you can see that in this set here Python. Yeah. So if I say S is equal to Kranti, so S is a reference variable referring to a set of characters. So let's find out what is the type of S. So it is belonging to the class called string. So that means Kranti is an object which is belonging to the class called string, and hence two strings can be concatenated with each other and they can be added. For example, S1 is equal to Kranti and S2 is equal to Kiran. Okay. Now, if I write S3 is equal to S1 plus S2. Now, let us find out what is S3. So, it is a concatenation of both the strings Kranti and Kiran. So, the general aspect of plus operator is to add two integers to float. That's all. It works only with the numbers because it's a mathematical symbol. How we can make it work with a string? How do they have overloaded this type of thing? In C++, we do a lot of manual work, but there is some easiness given in Python to overload the plus operators to our own cause. So first of all, I will try to make my own string object, which will have a set of characters as a string, which I will pass it. So I will call it my own object. Okay. So let us start writing the program for that. So I will declare my two classes here. Not two classes, one class, but two objects. So I will say class strings. Okay, because I'm writing strings because it might confuse with the string that is already existing. Maybe I will try out like this. Let us see, because str is the name given to it. So we will have definition hyphen hyphen init. It's a constructor for this. Just pass. But I want to give it something like this. What we can say. Okay, let me check out like this if it really works. If I give it like this, you see str of Kranti. Okay, right. So here you understand that the str is the class name, right? Str is the class name, and S1 is a reference variable referring to an object which we are now trying to prepare. Now, tell me, does str has a parameterized constructor or a default constructor in this case? Str is a predefined class that we know already. Okay. So this is the way I'm doing. Generally, I used to do like this, right? So S1 is equal to Kranti. This is one way I can do, but this is the other way I'm doing it. It is looking like declaring an object with some value, right? It is accepted. Now tell me, str is a class, and when you are using this statement, does str having a parameterized constructor or default constructor in this case? Answer from your side.
Default construction.
A default constructor is not having any parameters in it. The default constructor should look like this. S1 is equal to str of. This is called default constructor. Right, we have made that S1 pointing to an object which is a which is an object of the class called str without sending any parameters. But I'm sending Kranti there. So now I will ask you again. The above statement, which I am now underlining or highlighting, does this have a default constructor or parameterized constructor? First of all, what is parameterized constructor according to you?
Which contains some parameters.
Yeah, which contains a parameter. So if your constructor wants two parameters, it will not accept default. Let me show you like this. So it is default, right? Now I'll try to accept an object. So S1 is equal to string. I'll just declare like this. And so let us see whether it will be accepted or not. So class is declared and S1 is an object that has been invoked. Okay, you see here. So S1 is pointing to string instance, right? It is accepted. Now I'll do one thing. What I will do is I am accepting something like value, a string value. Now let us see what will happen. So see, instead of just self, I am giving another value here. Let us see it will if it executes or not. What does it say? Init missing one requirement position argument value. So this is called parameterized constructor. The way you represent here is a default constructor. If a constructor is only having self and no other parameters to accept, it's a default. And if the constructor along with self has some arguments in it, then it is called parameterized constructor because you are keeping some parameters in between the parentheses. So now what I will do is I will give Kranti. You see what will happen now. Yeah, it is accepting, right? So instance will hold the value in its local variable of that particular constructor. We haven't assigned it to anything. So now tell me in this case, now do you agree that whatever I'm highlighting, the str is containing a parameterized constructor or not? Yes or no, that's all.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I didn't understand what did you say, sir?
At what point you didn't understand?
Like, why are we giving that value, the self comma value, and why? What's the difference between the self and like giving only self or giving some parameter beside it?
Self val is equal to val. See, at some point of time, you might want to initialize an object with a value, or you want to just initialize an object and then give the values later on. I will show you both the examples. If this is the thing, right? So I am first going for default constructor. Default constructor only initializes the object. It doesn't want any value in it. Now, in the next phase, what I will do, I will write a function which accepts a value. So get string. Okay. As I said, for every function or sorry, for every method of your class, self is necessary because the self is indicating the object which is calling at this moment of time. Okay. So the self is common to everybody. So we are all humans, but everybody will say my pen, my phone, right? At that time, a human self is Kranti when I am saying it is mine. And at that time, the human self is Pradeep if Pradeep is saying mine. Okay. So the self is common, and whenever an object is invoked at that point of time, the self of the class will become that object's name. That's what I'm repeating every time about self. Self is nothing but mine. So I will also discuss a lot of issues in this slowly. So here you see, I will send a value here. It's like accepting the parameters there, right? As your earlier functions. Now I will give something like self.val is equal to value. Okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm giving it. So later on, I will display the value. Self, that's all. If there are no parameters and you're just calling the method, you just write self there. So print self.val. So self.val is an instance variable, right? And the value is a local variable. Remember, Anything that is in between your parentheses is often called a parameter, or sometimes you call an argument. And all those things that are in here are actually called local variables. Okay. And anything that is referred by self is called instance variable. Anything that is referred by self is called instance variable. That means it belongs to that object. But if I write something like your pi value in the area of, in the circle class, if I write directly like this, if possible, pi is equal to 3.14. I'm writing it as a constant. This is called class variable, because whatever object it might be, it belongs to that class. Okay, let us take an example of item grand. So item grand is a function. Sorry, item grand is a class. Let us take it as a class. So me and my friend, or some of my friends, are buying item grands. Each car which is in the go down is actually an existence, right? Every car has its own unique number that you will see it in the engine number. It is compared with the engine number, right? Your car is actually the engine number. So based on engine number, your registration number is also proclaimed. So every car is an object of a blueprint or a concept or a class called item grand. Now tell me, what are the things that will be common to all of you who have bought this item grand cars? Can you tell me what are common things that you have?
Body design and interior, sir.
Yeah, the body design, the 4 tires that you have. So now based on the object, the tires will not change, right? You cannot go and say, I want only 3 tires, and the other person say, I only want 2 tires. I don't want to waste the money. This is not way people talk. 4 tires are compulsory, naturally. And any other thing that is common? Along with the tires is equal to 4. Any other thing that is common to all the cars?
One steering.
Sir,
One...
engine is also common, but the number is they're mentioning
Engine
numbers
number might be different. Engine capacity, horsepower also. Okay, we will say the engine capacity 1100 horsepower something. Okay, okay. These two are common to all. And what are the things that are different to each car?
Color.
Color. Yes, that's correct. And the steering wheel. Some cars might be having electronic power steering, and some cars might be having mechanical power steering. So item grand is having, I think, mechanical power steering. But if you go to i20 and Creta and above, you will have some electronic power steering, which is very easy for you to drive even with some single finger. Okay. So your power steering is also different. So the instance variables are variables are generally defined as they are unique to an object. So each car has its own color. Each car has its own unique power steering. But the number of tires and the engine horsepower and some other properties are common to all of you. So whatever attribute or the variables that are common to all the objects are called class variables. Like your number of tires, the engine power is common to all the objects, right? These are called class variables. And particularly different for each individual object, like the color and the power steering type. These are called instance variables. Okay, so now you have understood, I think. So for the circle also, whatever circle you create, the radius might be different, but the pi value will be same. Now, can you tell me which variable is class variable and which variable can be instance variable?
Why is instance variable?
Class variable and instance is the radius.
Yeah. So pi is a class variable which is common to all the circles, and radius is individual each circle, and hence radius is an instance variable. So now you understand what is instance and what is a class variable, right? So let us go back. I will explain this one. I will come back to your question. So remember these things. Whenever I want to explain, I just explain it like that, because they never come under an individual concept. While we are going through the program, only we can explain it. So this is what I have done. I'm just trying to display it. So in this case, I'm using a default constructor. First of all, I am repeating what is a constructor. A constructor is a method which actually gives the memory to an object. So it gives a space for an object in the memory, which is referred by a reference variable called S1. Okay. So that is the reason why after 19th line, it will directly go to the 5th line for execution so that an object will be created. Now let us see. I will give the value like this, S1 dot get string of, sorry, self should not be written. Get string of something like Kranti. See this one. Now anybody can tell me what is self and what is value. You see actually two parameters here. I'm just passing one argument. So what is self then? If I'm thinking the Kranti should go to value, then what is self then? Should I give self here also? Did you understand my question? The get string is accepting two parameters, but I give only one parameter, but still it accepts. Why?
Self is the thing which is for the object, no sir.
Yes, that's correct. So when you are saying S1 dot get string Kranti, this S1 will go to self. So self will be S1. And whatever another parameter or the argument that you give, the value, the Kranti, will go to value. So indirectly here, I want to speak about self is equal to S1 and value is equal to Kranti. This is what's happening. So in this case, I am using a separate function to give a value to my object. So I'm passing Kranti to value, which the value is nothing but a local variable, which is holding, but a local variable is only for the function, not for the object. So why do I assign it to this self.val? Let me show you one thing. If I use value, because I am receiving value here, the method is part of your object S1 anyway. Kranti is received in value, right? Kranti is received in value. Now, instead of doing this, I write pass here, or maybe I can keep the sentence, not a big problem. But what I am printing, can you observe here? Printing what? In display?
Printing, printing Kranti string, sir.
Yeah, that's what you are thinking, right?
Yes,
So,
sir.
sorry. So display, I'm calling display, right? So without any parameters. So self is default S1 and there are no parameters. So I'm just calling it display. Now you see what will happen. So it is coming to the 19th line after looking into the class concept. So we have S1 is equal to string. And so it goes to the 5th line so that an instance of the string will be created and is referred by S1. You see here the red line which is pointing to. Finished. So constructor is used for that only, creating an instance. That's all. Now it will just look into that. So I am calling 20 in 21st line get string. It is going to the 8th line. It is coming to get string. You see. Okay. Now very good. See here. Just go back. You can just see where is the value. Value is located in which position? In a function called, in a method called get string. Listen to me carefully. Value is a variable if referring to Kranti, okay? And that is located in a method called get string. Now get back to this. Next statement. In the 10th line, I am saying self.val is equal to value. You see what will happen. The val is located in the instance, the object S1. Value is located in a method called get string. See that? Yeah. Now 23 line will give me an error. Can anybody guess why it will give me an error?
Because value is under a get string function, sir.
Yes, that's correct. So a local variable is always belonging to a function only. Other function or method, whatever it might be. other methods cannot look into the local variables of the other methods. Okay. See, display is one method, getString is another method. So the value is a local variable of a method called getString, which is not visible by display, but still we are calling value in the 14th line. You see here, it is illegal. The same example, మీ ఇంట్లో ఉన్న వస్తువుని పక్కింట్లో వాడు చూడలేడు. Yes, because you have a wall in between. Whatever you had your private, things like your TV or your table or your phone cannot be visible by the other person who is your neighbor. The same thing happens. The methods are all neighbors. The local variable of a method is not visible by the other methods. But instance variable is visible by all methods in an object. See here, that is the error it will produce. You see, what is the error? Name value is not defined. And that is the reason why I have to assign the local variable's value to an instance variable. So it will be even visible by the method called display. Remember, all instance variables of an object will be visible by all the methods in that object, like getString, display, everything. A local variable of a method belonging to an object is only visible in that method. Other methods cannot visualize it. Remember that thing. So that is the reason why I am assigning value to my instance variable self value. And now happily I can call that self value to be displayed. Right? So let us see whether it will be displayed or not. So instance is created with self value. Next, display is called. You can see that display can also access the local variable, instance variable of your object. You see the red arrow, right? So it can display now. Yes, it is displaying Kranti onto the screen. You can see what I have underlined. Get back to the program. Now, I don't want to waste this much of space here. In this case, I want to remove this function. Now, can anybody tell me what is the alternative? Just for assigning a value, why should I write another function wasting 2 lines of code? There is one thing still available for us as an option.
So we can do the constructor.
Yes, that's correct. Instead of a default constructor, which we have used now in this case, I will use a parameterized customized constructor. So I will just remove this one. Remove this. I will make some space to be available. I will write the value here. So remove an extra line here, and simply while initializing itself, I will give Kranti. So now this Kranti will be sent to value. Here also the same thing. Self is equal to S1 and value is equal to Kranti. Okay, this is what we will get. Now after this, instead of pass, what I will do, I will simply give self dot val is equal to value. So whatever value that you got in the constructor while initializing itself, you are assigning it to your instance variable. So remember, when you are assigning it a memory for instance variable, val will be created immediately and Kranti will be stored in the val, whatever that is there in the value. It's like, some people are born poor, right? There are no properties on their name. And after some time, they will attain the property by just their hard work. The previous example is like that. You are initialized and then using some hard work, you attain the properties on your name. Now here, in this case, by birth, you are rich. So by the time you are born, your father or your grandfather has written 1 crore of property on your name. This is the example. This is the parameterized constructor. So during initializing itself, we are giving the value to it. In the previous example, we are just initializing and later on we are giving the value. Difference between them is that. So here, Just a second. Okay, so here you are just initializing with that. So now let us test it. Yeah, so here you can see that the initialization is having a value Kranti. So here itself, it will initialize the instance variable for that instance. You see, there is no separate function needed for that initialization. And the last one is called display, and the display can connect to that value and directly display it. Yes, Kranti has been displayed. I think you can see. I think whoever have asked that doubt, why we give value and why not, is it clear for you?
Yes, sir. Now I understood, sir.
Okay, right. So this is what happening in our case. Now coming back to our example, like what we are discussing earlier. So I think we are talking about concatenating two strings, right? So I will create my own. So in this case, we are using parameterized constructor of str. In this case, we are using default constructor of str. That also we can write. I will show you later on how we can use multiple constructors. Right, now we are using parameterized constructor. So I'm initializing with Kranti, and okay, instead of display, I will also do something else. I want to concatenate two strings. So I will declare another string, which is my own string, which belonging to my class called string. So I will make it Kiran. So these are two strings. My aim is, instead of displaying them, what I will do is, I will have S3 is equal to S1 plus S2. And now I want to print S3. The answer should be something like this. It should give me Kranti space Kiran. This is the answer that I need to get. Okay, until now in the class, we can only initialize the value, that's all. We did not know how to add it. So both S1 and S2 will be initialized. So S1 will have Kranti and S2 will have Kiran. Let us see what will happen up to that, up to S1 and S2. Okay, S1 is initialized with Kranti. See the red arrow which I am highlighting now. And next S2 will also be created with Kiran. So now see the red arrow, the latest red arrow. You can see that S2 is having Kiran here. Okay, now come back. Anyway, that error will come because it says that I don't know what is S1 plus S2. Let us see. So you see, unsupported operand types for. So it says that you cannot concatenate two objects belonging to this class string. It can concatenate str and str, but it cannot concatenate our own user defined string class. So we need to now overload the operator plus, so that the two objects S1 and S2 belonging to our own user defined string class can be concatenated. Let us see how we can do that. Now look into this. For each operation, what is the method that you can use? Carefully observe the method that you are using. So these are the predefined methods that are used to implement the operator overloading. So here plus is an operator overloading, right? So we want to add two objects. How to make the computer know that I want to add P1 plus P2. So in our case, S1 plus S2. So they have given us a beautiful function name called underscore underscore add underscore underscore, like your init. So for every constructor, you have a default name init, right? Underscore underscore init underscore underscore. The same way, our add plus also having these names. You see, for minus, you have sub. For multiplication, you have mul. For power, you have POW. For division, you have true div. You need to use this function name at all cost. Now let us see what is this function and how it works. So in this case, I want to show you. Let us see what is S1 plus S2. So this doesn't mean this means indirectly that S1 dot underscore underscore add underscore underscore S2. Now until this moment, have been passing a value either string or integer as parameter. Now for the first time, what you are passing as a parameter, can you tell me? Is it,
The string Kranti.
yeah, no. You are passing something like S2 there. What is that S2 mean? Is it a primitive data structure or a non-primitive user-defined data structure?
User-defined data structure.
Yes, it's a non-primitive user-defined data structure. See, here you are passing a string which is a non-primitive predefined data structure. Remember this. Why I'm calling it non-primitive? Because the primitives are something like int, float, and char are primitives, including the pointers. Okay. Now, str is a collection of characters, right? It is predefined by the Python makers, but still it is non-primitive. That you need to remember. Still it is non-primitive because it is not dealing with int, float, and character. It is only dealing with set of characters. That means it's a collection of set of primitive data type. So that is the reason why I say it is a non-primitive predefined data structure or a class. But here in our case, we have defined our own string. And hence, if S2 is an object of our user-defined class called string, user-defined means you are writing. Predefined means they have given you. Okay. The difference between primitive and non-primitive is primitive is only holding int, float, character, and pointers, nothing else. Okay. The non-primitive is something like which uses the primitive things. So str is a non-primitive. Why? Because it is a collection of primitive character data types like K, R, A, N, T, H, I. But str is not defined by you. str is defined by Python makers. So that is why I'm telling it as predefined non-primitive data structure. But here the string is a class defined by you. So this is a user-defined data structure. And it uses what we say primitive characters, right? So Kranti, K-R-A-N-T-H-I, Kiran, K-I-R-A-N. So hence I am saying it is a non-primitive user-defined data structure. So for the first time you are passing that inside it. So when I am saying S1 plus S2, it means that S1 dot add of S2. So that means it is asking us to define this function or the method. I'm every time calling it function. I'm sorry, it is a method every time. So I will say add self and I will receive objet object. Okay, I will receive an object here. Now what it will do, I will write something like this: return self dot val plus objet dot val. What is happening here? Can you tell me so that I will write it in the comments? Add is having how many parameters? Can you tell me?
One parameter, sir.
Actually, you can say two because one
Two,
is
sir.
self and the other one is objet. So two parameters. So now tell me, in this case, what is self equal to? See the sentence. See this sentence and tell me what is self equal to.
The value which is stored in the self dot val. So
Tell me.
S1, sir.
in terms of S1 and S2. What is self here?
S1,
Just one, sir.
Yes.
One. Yes. What is OBJT?
S2, sir.
S2.
S2, sir.
Correct in this case. Now what will be this one called? So now interpret in terms of S1 and S2, the same statement.
S1 plus S2, sir.
So S1 dot val plus S2 dot val. It is nothing but, what is S1 dot val value?
Kranti, sir.
Yes, Kranti with space. What is S2 dot value?
Kiran, sir.
Kiran. So this is what you will get the final return into S3. So S3 is pointing to a string called Kranti Kiran, and finally if you print it, Kranti space Kiran will be appearing. So I hope you understand. A small example I will tell you. So your teacher has given you a programming assignment. For example, Pradeep and Rohit are two people in a team. So they have to write their own assignment. This programming assignment needs two functions. So they divided among themselves. So Pradeep, So Pradeep will be writing one function and Rohit will be writing another function. Let us think like that. They have individually written their own function. But tomorrow you have to submit your project. Okay, tomorrow you have to submit your project to the teacher. So how do you submit it? Individually do you submit, or combinedly you will submit?
You should submit it combinedly, sir. Because
Combinedly, because until unless you combine these two functions, it will not become a mini project, right? So until unless these two functions work together or combine together, it will not become a project or a mini project. So what they will do is, Rohit will invite Pradeep to his home. Rohit will invite Pradeep to his home and they combine together. Now that's the same case. So interpret it like this. So Rohit dot, so you will say combine with Pradeep. So what will happen is, so Rohit is inviting Pradeep to come to his home to combine the program. So what happens now? Why you say self? Because Rohit, you are taking Pradeep to your home and hence you call always yourself as mine. So what you will ask Pradeep to do? Pradeep, I will combine my function and your function. Your in the sense it is Pradeep function, right? That's what happening here. The self is S1. So S1 is telling invited S2 to its function, to its object space, and telling myself and S2's value will be concatenated, and finally Kranti Kiran should be formed. Did you understand the meaning of this? Any doubt in this?
No, sir.
Yeah. So you got it, right? How you send it actually. The self will always become an object, and whatever you pass will be carried on here. In this case, you are getting object. In some other cases, you might be getting integer. Some other cases, you might be getting float or something. That's on based on your what we say purpose of doing it. Now we have done it. So let's see what will happen. So Kranti will be initialized and S2 Kiran will be initialized, and then comes our hero S1 plus S2. See, it comes to the 9th line because it understands that when two objects are included with plus, it is nothing but equal to S1 dot add of S2. So it is coming to this function in line number 9. And now it will execute this, you see. Okay, Kranti Kiran has been formed and it will be written now, you see, in the add function, and it will be returned to S3, and now S3 will print Kranti space Kiran. This is a beautiful thing that you can do in Python. So you can overload any operator for your own purpose. Okay, right, coming back to this. So any doubt in this? Have you understood how to concatenate two strings using your operator overloading on your own? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I have a task for you, which I will open as an assignment. There are two complex numbers. You know what is a complex number, right? So first complex number is holding. So the complex number is something like a plus ib. This is what the representation, a plus ba or a plus ib. In our case, we will take a plus ib. So I will take 2 plus I3. This is one complex number. C2 is equal to 4 plus I5. Now the third one, if I say that as C3 is equal to C1 plus C2, the C3 should give me 6 plus I8. This is the answer I need to get. Naturally, you can add 2 plus 4 and 3 plus 5. But how come you can add 2 plus I3 plus 4 plus I5? So it should be like this, right? So 2 plus, in mathematics, you can do it very easily. Plus 4 plus I5. This is what happening. So how can you do that? Any idea?
Sir, maybe we can write functions to add the real part separately and imaginary part separately.
Yeah, that's correct. Fine. But while you are taking real part, actually, what it looks like in our programming perspective, is it an integer? Do you agree that whatever I have written in line number 33, 2 plus I3, is it an integer?
Sir, no, sir.
It is mixed of characters.
Yeah, it is a mix of characters and numbers. So naturally, I have to consider it like a string. Yes or no? Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what I will do is, while I am creating an object, so I will say complex. So I will initialize with parameterized constructor itself, 2 plus I3. That's all. So C2 also I will initialize. I did not write complex. Okay. Complex 4 plus I5. Okay. This is one thing. Now finally I need to get C3 is equal to C1 plus C2. I need to get a value by this. So naturally now you understand I need to get a parameterized constructor, right? So I will write something like class complex, right? And definition hyphen init hyphen. This is how I will write self comma value, which I am receiving it. The same thing earlier, self dot val is equal to value. That's what I will give. Now I will cancel everything and let us test what will happen for this. So I am testing it one by one to know whether it will happen or not. Okay, now I should mask it so that will be better. So I will see whether two objects are created with those things. Yeah. So now C1 is holding 2 plus I3 and C2 is holding 4 plus I5. Fine. Let us return to this. Now, the thing is that you need to add these two, but how do you add it? So somebody has said we need to get the real numbers. Yeah. Any idea to get the real numbers outside?
We split the terms with less things.
Yeah, that's correct. We can split the terms. So I think something like this. If I say S is equal to 2 plus I3, this is the value I have given, right? So I need to get two values. So what I will do is, I'll do something like this. Okay. So L is equal to S dot split of plus I. So wherever plus I is there, you split on that. So let us see what L will become. So you got 2 and 3 values, right? So now I will simply give A is equal to int, integer of L of 0. This is what I will give. B is equal to integer of L of 1. So this is what I will. Now let's see what is A. A is 2 and B is 3. So now we have separated 2 and 3 values. This is my idea. This is one idea you keep in your mind. Okay. Now I will write a very small program so that you can see how you can get it. Okay. Now the program I will write, you see. So you keep in mind that particular idea of splitting it as your friend has suggested. So you could separate those real numbers like 2, 3, 4, 5 in two different objects. So in this case, I want to get 2, 3 of S1, C1 and 4, 5 of C2 separately. They both will be stored in their instance variables A and B. Now let me tell you one hint. Class add obj. So what I will do is I will do something definition init. I will take 4 minutes of time. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is the next period?
Sir, we have a next test in the next period, sir.
Test in the next period. Just a second. I will just finish it with this hint. I will open the assignment so that you will do. So I will do something like self.a is equal to A. So A and B are here local variables and self.a and self.b are instance variables is equal to B. So what I will do here is, okay, S1 is equal to add obj of two things, 2, 3, which I am giving now. S2 is equal to add obj of 4, 5, two things I am giving, right? So now I will do that. S3 is equal to S1 plus S2. So what I will do, I will use the same add definition add of self comma objet. So what it will happen here, so I will see something like, so 2 plus 4 and 5 plus 3, they both should be written into S3. So what I will do here is, I want to combine them. So I will say return, do not return it. So I will say something like temp S is equal to self.a plus objet dot b. That's what I will do it. Next, temp st is equal to self.b plus objet dot b. Here A, not B. Okay. So I'm adding these two things. Now your temp S will be addition of 2 plus 4, that means 6, and temp st will be addition of 5 plus 3, that is 8. Finished. So after that, you know what to do again. You can just combine it, right? So simple thing is return temp S, and then you will do plus I, right? Plus temp st, simple thing, temp st, and it's giving like something like, right, in the put comment, you can write it something like this. So it will give 6 plus I, and the last one will be 8. It is looking like a complex number, right? This is what you are written as a string. So this is another example you keep in mind. So using this one, which I have shown you in the terminal of how to split, and using this one of how to catch the values, you just write the code. Combining these two things, you write a code. You can take a screenshot of this for your help. This is one screenshot you can take. And the other screenshot. So I will open an assignment today. I will give the time up to tomorrow. You can do this program as part of operator overloading. Let's see how you will overload the complex number objects. Right then, if any doubt is there, you can contact me. Bye-bye for today.